When we first started dating, actually, Sky's one thing was we wouldn't live together until the kids were old enough to not live with me anymore because he was not interested in being a parent.
Okay.
And things changed, situations changed, and he moved up here last year. And just...
So you had a distance relationship.
We did.
Wow.
It sucked.
It's awful.
I'm amazed at that because you guys seem so close. Yeah.
That's why. Making up for that time. It's 3 flights from here to Ohio. And for the first few times I went, I was like pre/mid transition. So getting misgendered at security, going and getting pat down everywhere, the stupid backscatter machines, all of it.
So it's really that bad if you're early in transition?
I hated it because like when first my passport was my old, like my dead name and my old gender. But then I was far enough in the transition that I didn't match that and they wanted like second kind of ID and they wanted to pat me down.
Are you talking about like hair?
Yeah, like I didn't start growing facial hair till what? Last September?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. So for the first bit. And then I hadn't had top surgery, obviously, and was like larger chested. So it just was a pain in the ass.
So you had a very much a mix of characteristics. Yeah. That's why I can see that panic of wanting to just pay for the top surgery.
Yep.
I had the same thing too because before taking testosterone, I actually had a little bit of a puff of a beard, and so testosterone it really started to grow pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's shaved down right now, but you know, I was out with some cowboys, so I thought I'd try for more cowboy. I know I'm so silly, but anyway, so yeah, I got to that point too. Large-breasted and a beard. I mean, and this was a long time ago too in the U.S. So I was like, I have to do whatever I need to do right now. And I took out actually credit cards. I was like, credit card.
Wow.
Yeah. It took me 10 years to pay off.
Yeah.
Woo!
But like worth it.
Oh yeah.
That
totally.
was like the one, like honestly, I've only been
safety.
misgendered like twice since I had top surgery.
Yeah.
But people like, I had facial hair and then people would say sir and then ma'am. Like it was just that like, that, like boob check. And I was just like,
or
oh my God.
they would be sorry and effusive sometimes.
Like, no,
with
you
me.
were right.
Yeah. Or like, or they would get offensive. Like, what are you? You know, or hit on me. They would hit on me sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm getting it from all ends here, you know.
You got spam a lot.
Yeah, it was be like, so ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you know that I would say, you know, my name is Noah, and they'd say Noelle.
Oh,
or, how do you spell that the girl way? I'm like,
yes,
there is no girl.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
With my name, people would say, oh, Jane, instead of Shane. It's like, crap.
Like you figure out the like, well, people put an E on the end of your name.
They do, which is fine.
But
It's fine.
yeah, no, it's I definitely hit a point where I was like, I just need these gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, Sky was great. I got him, because he had already had top surgery at that point, so he knew what I went through, and so he picked me up all loopy. Actually, I remember they called him to pick me up, and as they were talking to him, I was like, that's my fiance!
Oh,
You could hear me in the background.
I couldn't hear you, but I could hear the nurse laughing on the phone. I'm like, what is happening?
I was very high on pain meds, but he took great care of me, and it's funny because like that's a spot I never thought I would get to transitioning, and I had all these like my therapist actually changed.
You didn't think that you'd get top surgery?
I didn't know, like I didn't think I could transition. Period. Like I was in a spot where I was like, I am in this marriage, I am a mom. Okay, I have to take care of the kids. I have to be married and all this stuff. There were just so many factors, and I very clearly remember talking to her because I knew I was in love with this guy, and I knew I was going to be separating. He didn't know.
And did you identify as gay, by the way? Okay, so you were a straight woman, and you're. Okay.
I was non-binary when we met.
Yes.
Okay, so you're non-binary.
He knew me as a queer non-binary person, but that
right.
was still kind of like not in your wheelhouse of attraction-ish. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. It's, gender and sexuality are weird. But.
No, I know. I once talked to a guy early on in my transition who talked about this a little bit, and he's cisgendered, and he would, because he was so welcoming of trans men who were gay, and you know, I mean, he liked them too. I mean, it was part of what he liked, and he was very gay, and so he got hit on a lot by young trans men, right? And for him, though, he really needed those secondary sexual characteristics like the beard and the voice and, for that sort of more superficial attraction, instead of just knowing the person.
Yeah.
But that stuff is important sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, I think that is a very personal thing.
Yes,
and I know that
it's very personal.
That it can be... I mean, having been a person that, like my ex and I tried to make it work when I came out as non-binary.
Yeah.
But I was very much... And non-binary is by no means a step to being trans-mask. Yeah. But for me, it was.
But it is for some people.
It was a step for me. And so my version of non-binary was binding and was dressing masculine. Mm-hmm. And my ex just could not find that attractive.
Right.
And it was really difficult. It was really heartbreaking.
And that can make somebody feel kind of guilty, I would think.
Very. Yeah. I very much felt responsible for, like, destroying that relationship. And, I did, I said to my therapist, like, I can picture this future that I want. I want to transition. I want to be, like, living in this apartment. I want to be, with this person that I love, and I can't have that. And they interrupted me and they said, yet. I was like, well, what do you mean? And they were like, yet. You can't have that now, but yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's been 2.5 years, and here we are with all the things I wanted. So they were right. And
that's really rapid.
It kind of was like, all right, let's go.
And you moved here, and and your parents, and woo.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't always the plan.
It wasn't the plan, but stuff happened. Plans changed. Yeah. It's better now.
It is. It's true. It's true. But it was funny because when I first started transitioning, with my youngest, I used Sky kind of as a template to be like, this is what being trans means and stuff.
Okay.
And at first,
because you were early on.
Yeah, I hadn't even started transitioning yet,
Yeah.
and so he said, he basically was like, okay, but it'll be weird if you have a beard. And it was a process because he's autistic. There's that tendency to kind of black and white things.
Okay.
And so I kind of worried that he would struggle with this. But when I switched over, they used to call me Mama. And when I switched over to Dad, he wrote down Dad and then him on a bunch of sticky notes.
Oh.
And he put them up all over the apartment.
Oh, like as a little reminder.
It took him about 3 days. And now, what was it, a week ago, we saw a video of me 2 years ago. And he heard my voice in the video, and he was like, that's weird, turn it off.
He hated it.
And now he likes rubbing my beard, and he's I'm Dad, and it's just, and our oldest is great, too. He has lots of really respectful questions. Like I said, if I'm talking to my friends about you, but I'm talking about something that happened before you transition, like, what pronouns do you want to use? So, like, really respectful questions for a 15-year-old.
What would be the answer to that?
I said that I would prefer if he used not use my dead name, like use my current name. He can explain that I am trans and that I used to be Mom and that now I'm Dad, but to not use and then Mom and I went to whatever, Dad, who used to be Mom, and I did this. So
yeah, it makes sense not to use your old name because that's a privacy thing too.
Yeah. And I actually changed my name once when I came out as non-binary, but it was just an alternate spelling of my birth name. Because my mom was really upset at me for changing my name. She always wanted a daughter with my dead name. And it was a big deal. Yeah. Which to me, I was like, oh my God, get over it.
Yeah.
And this time when I changed my name, it's something completely different, obviously.
This was kind of funny. I kind of changed my name to something like super butch, just kind of as a joke, but also in reaction to the group of men that I was coming out with or whatever, doing my initial transition with, because they were sort of hyper masculine and they were kind of requiring that of me, which was kind of weird. So I chose a name that was totally inappropriate for me. It was like Hank, That's my cowboy name, by the way.
Beautiful.
I love that.
So I'm coming full circle here. Yeah, but I just that didn't suit me. Actually, my name that I did choose was from when I was little, and I knew a boy that I sort of idolized a little bit. Yeah, he was. And I wanted to be more like him. I was very good, and he was kind of bad.
Bad boy.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to be more like him, more contrarian, etc. So yeah.
I don't even remember why I picked my name. I just kind of liked it.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like the name of it, the sound of it, like the meaning behind it, or
I mean, the meaning behind Noah is interesting because it is a religious figure,
right?
But there's also that like meaning of like safety and a place to find home, and I really like that. But that was kind of a secondary, like it was just, although apparently it's a really common trans guy name because we looked it up and both of us are in like the super top of trans dude names.
Well,
which
mine is too. At least we're not Aiden though, or something.
We joined a group on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, babe, look at how many of these guys are trans like us, because it was just like all the names are nouns. And I was like, I love this, but I know every single one of you is trans.
Okay.
So, yeah. No, it was just kind of, you were the first person I told my name to, though. So that was really, you were. You were the first person I came out to and the first person I told my name to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you chose it when you were, what were you going by when you were more non-binary?
You called me Willow.
I did call you Willow.
That was kind of my nickname that I went by. Okay. Because I was a huge fan of, actually, you can see I have a tattoo from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a huge Buffy fan.
Okay. So I was thinking about the 80s movie.
I mean, I've seen that too.
Sure.
You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Joss Whedon is problematic.
Isn't it like Jim Henson Muppet puppets?
Oh God, I don't even know. I don't even remember.
That's a generation before you. Okay, never mind.
No, I watched like Friday Night Fright Night, like after Boy Meets World was Buffy, and so Willow was the lesbian in Buffy, and I was like, yeah, I'm a lesbian, and then it just kind of stuck, and now that's just weird.
It is weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
How did you choose your name?
I don't remember. I think I just liked it.
You had another name you were considering.
I did. I was considering Jace because he's the main character of my favorite book series.
Okay.
But then I don't know. I was a teenager and I was like, that name's very masculine and I don't deserve that name yet.
Okay.
Which, thinking back on it, was weird.
It doesn't sound very masculine.
But in my head it was. Okay. The character was. I think that's why.
All right.
And then so then I think I just picked Sky because I liked it. So I don't know. It's a nice name.
It is, and it matches with our last name is very like foresty.
Okay.
So it's a nice nature match.
Okay. Great. So you share a name now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Well.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soonish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a month.
34 days I looked at my phone.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, we will. But you're keeping your dad's last name too.
I'm gonna hyphenate it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, names that come from families. I mean, it's really important. I kept part of mine as well. You know, I kept that as part of my middle name. Yeah.
I got rid of my middle name. It was my grandma's name, but I actually changed my whole name. My last name is now my grandma's last name. So it was my mom's maiden name. But I had always loved it. And I was always like, why the hell did you change it to my dad's last name, which was this like really rough German last name that I didn't like. And I was like, why did you change this? And then as an adult, I'm like, oh wait, I can change it back. So I did. So I kind of kept that piece of like my grandma with her last name. So I like that.
Yeah. I thought about taking my mother's maiden name as well, but it didn't have much of a relationship with the Scottish side of my family. And they're very Scottish and actually Nova Scotia Scottish, you know. And so I felt like that wouldn't be appropriate. I actually chose a last name that is not connected with my family at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had friends who did that.
Yeah, actually, we have our there are lesbian counterparts. We basically, if we had to ever pretend to be straight, we would just like swap partners.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's kind of an old gay thing, you know.
Yeah.
Two couples living together and raising children, and they're lesbians and gay men.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a thing.
They're our beard.
They are. It's true. We all went to Pride together, and it was really fun. But they're great. They don't have any kids, and sorry.
It's okay. So the lesbians?
The lesbians.
Always talk about the lesbians.
The lesbians.
Let's go lesbians.
And let's say that very long lesbians. Okay.
Yes, they are basically our lesbian counterparts, but they really they're fantastic. They don't have kids, but our youngest adores them.
Oh, great.
And they're great with him and with all of like his divergencies and needs.
Yeah.
So
do they become like babysitters sometimes?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful.
They were here when we went to a drag show on Sunday, and we hang out with them. Actually, one of them is our officiant for the wedding, which is really fun.
So that's like kind of like the minister that does the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's really, that's our found family that our wedding, we're eloping. So there's 6 of us.
What does eloping mean?
We are running away.
In this situation, what does this mean?
We're running away to the mountains.
Okay.
So we're taking our 2 best friends and then this lesbian couple and our photographer, and we're all going up a mountain.
Okay.
And that's all we're doing.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm assuming lots of pictures. And,
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the mountains here are so beautiful. My goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite place. I love camping. Camping and hiking are like my favorite things to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to just like look around and see like kind of this ring of mountains that it's all snow-capped too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm really surprised at that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done we actually just went camping the first weekend in June. We went to Jasper and it was like 30 degrees and we swam in some lakes in the mountains. And
See, I love that. I love
so
the
fun.
chilly water and just the breeze and
I tried to drag him in and he was like,
I
I'm
hated
done.
it. I hated it.
okay, I love that. What you need is a sauna. And then
We went to the hot springs.
We did go to the hot springs.
There you
The hot
go.
springs is nice.
Oh, are there natural hot springs up here?
Yeah, near Jasper and then near Banff and then near Lake Louise.
Oh,
So.
see, now I'm envious because I really wanted to get my butt into a hot spring.
Well, if you go up via the scenic route, you go pretty close to the Miami Hot Springs.
Unfortunately, I don't have time for that right now. But I have to come back because I keep passing through all these beautiful places and not being able to stop. So I'm going up. I have a job that I'm going to, and I have to do fingerprinting and all kinds of crap like that. You know.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yes, we know about that.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that in the lower 48 because I was in all these small little towns, and I just didn't want to go to a small town police station. I really didn't.
I
fair.
wonder why.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I mean, it'll be bad enough in Fairbanks, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingerprinting is a
Small
pain.
town Idaho? No.
No.
No. Even you know about Idaho, and you know, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I could feel the difference. Like when we went back, we were back in Ohio in
March.
Okay.
And as soon as we got off
Are you visiting relatives? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandma lives down there.
Okay.
Yeah, we were visiting, and as soon as we got off the plane and we were holding hands, we both just kind of were like,
Oh. So you looked at each other and were like, oh, I don't know.
We did until we got to the men's washroom, and then I was like, let's maybe not be together for the men's bathroom.
Oh, wow.
In Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, and you guys are very together. Yeah. That must have been hard, actually, to think about that. Like, we can't show, what do they call that? Public PDA. Public displays of affection.
Yeah, we're very.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird.
It's weird how we have a term for that, right? Because the only people I've ever heard worry about that are queer and trans people, right? Because we do have to think about that in the places that we go, whether it's traveling or where we're actually living too.
Yeah, which again, like this is my first like time being a visibly queer person in a visibly queer relationship, and I like after 34 years of being a straight passing person in a straight passing relationship, so
and
it's
kind of
like,
invisible in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah, and now you're very visible.
yeah, now we have no choice, and like
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, I don't want to hide it at all.
Yeah.
It's just very, it's different.
Yeah.
And I notice it now,
Yeah.
and I mean that's not been an experience that you've had, so it's not.
Yeah, you just
Different
kind
for
of
you.
come up through it.
You just grew.
Yeah.
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 And this is I had like a fling for a week. This is my first like actual relationship.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Yeah, I mean we get like some stares and stuff sometimes, but nothing like bad has ever happened.
Sometimes at the pool, because like we both have scars from surgery.
Sure.
But here, actually in Edmonton, they passed a rule: you're allowed to swim topless at any pool that's run by the city. Doesn't matter if you've got breasts, if you're male, female, non-binary, whatever. So that's nice.
That's more European too, and Canada does have a French population and influence, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
cultural.
It's great.
Yeah.
We did see somebody the other day. It was a trans guy, like pre-top surgery, just
yeah,
awesome.
No shirt,
and it was great. Like, it's nice to see.
Yeah, some activism that people do in the lower 48, like, let's say if they're a bit more privileged and have a lot of money and stuff, and they have their own houses and pools, like, they will open up those spaces for trans men to come in and have private parties. And, you know, it's not like a sex party or whatever, which is fun, though, but but, you know, just to be in a, like, non-sexual space where you're just taking your clothes off and just... Everything's okay. Yeah. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
There are some queer youth camps here that I've worked at before, summer camps for queer non-binary youth.
Sure.
And they're the same thing, where they're like, we have a pool, and the policy is wear whatever you do or don't want.
Yeah,
and that's, you know, you all have to respect each other.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, it's great getting to see these kids finally being able to, like, be themselves.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
Yeah. I talked to one woman in... New Hampshire, and she was a late transitioning trans woman, and for her, one of the best early experiences for her, was to actually put on a swimsuit and go to a party with other trans women.
I bet.
Yeah, it was, and her describing it, I was like, wow, this is really intense. Yeah.
Oh, the first time swimming without a shirt was weird because I couldn't feel anything. Still,
Oh,
you know, like I still like half numb, but then also I kept being like, oh my god, this is illegal.
Yeah,
like, you know?
Right. You know what's funny? I sometimes go to you know, public gyms, like I don't know if they have them here, but Planet Fitness.
Yes.
Okay. I hate going there though because they're gross and. I'm like, I'm kind of a clean person. Even though I lived in cabins and stuff, I'm still a clean person.
That's a different kind of clean, though, you know?
Yeah, but it's funny, though. I have these body memories of, like, protecting myself. So I will still sometimes wrap the towel all the way up instead of...
I still do that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a funny body memory because I really don't need to do that anymore.
I did that the other day getting out of the shower, and then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But then I got to remember, too, these things are kind of like muscle memory. I still hold things as if I'm smoking, and I haven't smoked since 1993.
Your body remembers stuff.
Yeah,
it's weird. No, it's definitely been different, but despite, like, even, you know, getting looks or, you know, things like that, I'd rather that than live the way I was before because I was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And, you know, now it's just... We have so much fun. We do so much fun stuff. We just finished up a 10-week dance class.
Oh.
We learned how to salsa.
Oh, I love Latin.
Great.
I love Latin
fun.
dancing.
So fun. We went and did a gay line dancing class. I had so much fun with that. We go to markets. We go and take the kids out and do all sorts of fun stuff. And it's just...
Well, you know, this is a form of activism, too.
Yeah, queer joy.
You might not... Yeah, exactly. Queer joy, trans joy, etc. Gender euphoria, some people call it. You know, because sometimes, I mean, people's lives are hard, you know, and there is some trauma there. But when you can find the joy, you know, really go for it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and therapy definitely helps. We've both done a lot of it.
And a tight relationship and other relationships that you're willing to work on.
Yeah, we've got a really good, really close group of friends that we see often. And we have one other couple, they're both non-binary, and they have kids. They're our only other friends with kids. Oh. But that's also great because then our kids get to have other kid friends whose parents are queer.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how often that's a thing at their schools and stuff. I don't know how many of their friends' parents are queer.
Sure. Or open about it.
Yeah. I had to email his teacher and be like, hey, like, he doesn't really have anyone to make a card for Mother's Day, so here's some suggestions, kind of thing, because they still do all that very gendered stuff in school.
Right.
So that's been...
Yeah, those kind of Hallmark card holidays. Yeah. I was just complaining about that because it was just Father's Day, but then you guys had a different take on that.
Yeah. You want to talk about your first Father's Day?
It was okay. It was, I don't know. It was fine. It was my first Father's Day without my dad because he died almost a year ago. which was difficult. But then it was also my first Father's Day as a step parent. So, and then our youngest made me a card at school, and you helped him make like a little like heart picture frame with our picture in it.
He chose to paint it rainbow.
Yeah, he chose to paint it rainbow.
Sweet.
Yeah,
sweet.
so that was really... We did something else. What did we do?
So he's very kind to you guys as well.
Yes.
He's very sweet.
So sweet.
Yeah.
He's a very sweet, thoughtful kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's really done. He's very adaptive. Yeah, very adaptable. I think he thinks everyone's gay. We had a babysitter over, and we have this rainbow cowboy hat that's around here somewhere. And he just said to the babysitter, who is also non-binary and queer, but like he just was like, "Yeah, you have to wear the rainbow cowboy gay hat. Like that's part of being in this house." So he has a really good perspective on people's differences.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad of that.
That's interesting because he's growing up with different relationships and different kinds of gender expressions and transitions as being the normal. Yeah. Whereas people might cringe at that, but most people grow up with cis and heterosexual as being the normal. So having that diversity is actually really great.
It is
actually great. Yeah.
I wish I had that when I was a kid. I didn't know a single out queer adult, never mind a trans adult, when I was in junior high. I didn't, I couldn't see myself as an adult because I didn't know any queer adults.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right? So, and that's, it's definitely gotten better, but I remember...
I didn't think I would live this long.
Yeah, it's like, I think the first queer person I saw on TV was like Will and Grace, which,
Yeah. I liked Karen from that, but other than that, I don't know.
And now, our friend, my first girlfriend, who's now like our best friend, and we were in the bookstore, and I was like, look at all these queer books. Like, we just picked up that series for our youngest that's like Rainbow Gray and the something, and it's just, there's non-binary characters, there's queer characters, there's people of color, there's indigenous characters, and it's just like, I'm so happy for the kids. But I'm also, there's a part of me still that's like this hurt, angry teenager that's like, why didn't I get this?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's interesting you say that. How are you able to work through that? Because some people aren't able to, and they hold on to some bitterness, and sometimes that turns against the rest of the trans community. Actually, they'll say anti-trans things or things that narrow what trans is about. So how are you able to work through that?
I mean,
Therapy.
Therapy again. Okay. Yeah.
I hate the idea of policing other people's identities.
Yeah.
If somebody else tells me this is my identity, this is my pronouns, I'm like, cool. I'm not the queer police.
Yeah.
If that's your identity, that's your identity. I'm going to respect it, even if I don't understand it, because I don't want to be like the people who said, well, I don't get what being bisexual means, so we're just not going to talk about it, right? That's not fair.
Or outlawed in our cases.
Yeah. I mean, gay marriage was still illegal when I was, until I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Here.
And it was listed in whatever diagnostic manual in the United States, and trans as well. Yeah.
And even, there's still that perspective with transitioning, because the people who make the decisions about whether you can transition are not trans people.
Right.
Those doctors are cis-het people.
Right.
The doctor that I saw for my hormone therapy was a cis-het woman.
Yeah.
The person who said that I could have top surgery was a cis-het man. So.
They gave you the hand stamp.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're a trans person now.
I'm like, no, I get to decide that, not you. It's really bullshit. But
even the organizations that supposedly are out there to help us, like WPATH and Harry Benjamin Standards Care or whatever, they are sometimes not helpful. In fact, they're harmful sometimes. Yeah.
It's wild to me that they were like, yeah, we'll do your top surgery, but you have to have a talk with a therapist to make sure that you're not doing this for funsies. I'm like, I'm fucking 35 years old.
Right.
Are you for real?
Right.
I am a grown
surgery
adult.
is so fun. Oh my
I've
goodness.
had 2 this year, a top surgery and gallbladder surgery, and I am done. I'm over it. I'm not doing this for fun.
Right. Scars and stitches, blood, all that is so fun.
I mean, I love my scars, honestly. I think they look cool. I'm planning on bedazzling them for Pride this year.
Okay. But that's more of a reclaiming kind of thing, because that is... you're celebrating your identity. Yeah. But, I mean, just, thinking of surgery as kind of a category. Yes. That's no fun.
No, it's really not. Yeah. It's really not. But I think like in relation to the question about like, you know, not feeling bitter about that stuff, I think just kind of taking back that time that I lost and doing all of the shit that I wanted to do when I was a teenager. Like, I see, we were actually talking about this morning. I see all these people on, you know, Instagram and stuff talking about how like, oh, why can't we climb trees anymore as adults? And I'm like, well, you can.
Yeah.
Go for it. And we do. Like, we go out to the park and we climb trees. Yeah. And, you know, we go on those stupid electric scooters all over the place. And I'm just really trying to, like...
And dance classes.
Yeah. Just doing all of that stuff that I didn't get to do as myself when I was younger and kind of throwing out the, like... Because, like, to anybody who's like...
regret?
Yeah. And to people who are in their 30s who are like, I'm ancient. I'm so old. Like, shut up.
Well,
You're really not.
I just talked to a couple of those cowboys. I mean, they're in their late 60s. Yeah. And they just started. So, there you go.
And I mean, I think it's funny because I'm finding, like, that the older that people are, the more they're like, no, it's great. Yeah. Like, life is great now. Yeah. And I am happier at 36 than I've ever been in my life. And so,
especially for queer people, because a lot of times you didn't get your teenage years. No. You might have also had that experience. We can't be ourselves when we're in our teens. It's getting better now.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about like dating and
and just existing as you know, a person who like your authentic person. Like I did the teens as a girl and I hated it, and now actually it's funny because this year in Edmonton the theme of the Pride is Y2K.
Okay.
And I'm super excited.
What? What?
I know they're having a Y2K themed Pride party.
What does that mean?
Like the year 2000. Like it's like and I'm well, I said if I had to be a boy in the 90s 2000s, I would have had to have like frosted tips and Lacoste shirt, so like no thank you.
Okay.
But it's kind of fun because it's like I didn't get to be myself in the actual late 90s, so now I do, which you know, it's going to be a great time. But yeah, I think just doing all of those things that bring you joy and like not caring if it's
not
like,
deferring either.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do this, and if it's like, oh well, you know, people in their 30s shouldn't, like, just throw that sentence right in the trash.
Well, you know, when skateboarders started to be in their 30s and 40s, then I think that let's throw all that out now.
Tony Hawk is in like his 50s.
I know. He's my. That's exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like
he's my peer.
Do what you want to do and love it because it's been so fun.
Yeah.
We're like, man, I wish I had. Well, we were thinking about doing sword fighting classes in the fall because, like, I've always wanted to learn how to sword fight, and we're like, why not? Let's do it.
Are you talking about like a traditional kind of martial arts, or
I don't know,
kind of a
fencing,
mix?
maybe like I don't know how to use a long sword. Yeah. Okay. We actually just did our engagement.
You have to be really quick to do the fencing.
Yeah. We just did our engagement photos, and they were pirate themed.
Okay.
We rented out like the pirate ship and we dressed up and they were really fun. So it's just really again fun. Like that's another thing where it's like,
is that like at a theme park or something?
The mall here, West Edmonton Mall, has a replica of the Santa Maria.
Okay.
And you can rent it out. And we were like, all right, why not? So we had so much fun. And again, that's just a thing where it's like, yeah, it's childish. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, I notice, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I notice that when people do become parents, they do play again because they're playing with their children. Yeah. It's like me with my dog. I mean, this is a totally different example with my dog, but I'm playing more because I'm with him.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, we do that with like playgrounds and stuff. Because like if the playground is completely empty, we'll go on it, but we're also very conscious that we're your two male passing men
sure.
In a park full of children.
Sure.
And people aren't going to react to that well. So when we have our kids, we'll go climb on the playground with them if we want, or if it's empty. So
yeah, no, playgrounds are great. There needs to be more adult playgrounds.
Yeah.
That grown-ups can play in, that I can fit in, and I'm not trying to like squish myself in the slide.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing this up because I have heard other trans people talk about this, like that their transitioning sort of rejuvenated them, you know, that gave them more joy, and now they're going out and like I met a woman in her early 40s who's going out and partying like she's in her 20s sometimes. I mean, she has a career, so she can't do that too much, but you know, she gets to have that experience of being a young woman now. Yeah.
We went to the there was like a pride party last weekend right before my birthday. And it was at a bar, and I have not been dancing at a bar since I was like...
Was this a gay bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, this one was at the Starlight Room, so no, but we have been to the gay bar too, and it was a gay party at the bar. We got a little overwhelmed after a while, but it was really fun, and I think part of it too is like we do have an age gap between the two of us.
Okay. Like the stereotypical gay age gap.
Okay.
So, Sky's like, I want to go out and go dancing and party. And my first reaction was like, man, I'm too old for that. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
I'm not. And we had a great time.
Yeah.
Just sleep in, you know? Get your lesbians to come over and...
That's what I'm going to call them now. I'm changing our group chat to our lesbians.
Make the breakfast and you sleep in.
Yeah. That's honestly what having a village is like too. It's great having a group of people you can depend on for that kind of stuff. So.
And then, some people I noticed with COVID, I obviously I haven't had the experience of being a parent, but there were a lot of people complaining about having to spend time with their children at the beginning. I thought that was so strange,
I struggled at the beginning of COVID because our youngest was not diagnosed with anything yet.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to homeschool kindergarten an autistic 5-year-old with ADHD.
And keep up with your career.
And work. And not having any real support at that time.
Yeah.
And not being able to see other people. It was really challenging. And that's kind of part of where I was like, man, I am like deeply unhappy. And now I feel like I'm such a better parent. But we talked about that too with like the occupational therapists and stuff that came over, where they were like, you're better parents when you have a break. And so I think that's why people were struggling a lot with COVID too, is because it's like, well, I don't have a break, so I can't recharge myself. I'm a way better parent after he's been at school all day. And he comes home and I'm like, cool, now I have patience and we can play games. But it's,
So really the teachers out there are shouldering a lot of responsibility here that we don't give them a lot of credit for, or we even blame them. You have so much influence over children and stuff. I wonder if this helps parents realize the importance of teachers and like having this break.
It absolutely, it's so important. And like we've worked really hard for summer to like get them into summer camps and make plans and like have
and it's good for them too, because then they get more relationships
Mm-hmm.
and socialize more. I do that with my dog. I mean, I keep bringing up my dog because he's
totally
he's my little child. But I actually love it when he loves other
Mm-hmm.
people. Yeah, I love that because that means that he is his own being with his own feelings. I don't want to lord over him. Oh no, he's my dog. He is a dog that we have a relationship with. Yeah, yeah.
That's, I think, a thing with parenting that a lot of the older generation struggles with. Like, I really felt like my parents wanted me to be a specific person. They had a goal. They had an end goal in mind for me.
Yes.
And when my mom said, I always wanted a daughter named Dead Name, that really solidified that for me. It was like, and she would say, I just want you to be happy. But happy meant, I want you to be this person.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And
that never works out.
It doesn't. No. And so with the kids, I'm like, I don't have a vision of what their future is going to look like. All I want is for them to be happy and kind.
Yeah.
And I think if people just focused on that instead of like, I want you to do X, Y, Z. I want you to be straight. I want you to be cis. I want you to be married, whatever. Like
career.
Yeah. And it is hard. It's hard too, especially like, I mean, I was pregnant with him. I carried him inside my body for 9 months. And then, he was tiny. He was this big. He was this itty bitty little baby. And I carried him around all the time. And then suddenly it's like they're this separate person and they have a personality and they're talking back to you.
Right.
And that's when I think a lot of people start to struggle because they're like, but that's my possessive kid. And that's hard. It's hard to let go and be like, we disagree on things. And like, he doesn't want to do this. And yeah.
But that shows that you're a good parent.
I try.
That they are individuating, right? They're making their own decisions. Yeah.
And I think that's also like, Sky has really been encouraging of the kids to really determine what their relationship with him is like.
Yeah.
You know, that's up to them.
Oh, yeah.
And they've both chosen,
Good,
like, you know, the oldest will come out and say, hey, watch this TV show with me, play this game with me. And, you know, our youngest will come out and say, like, you started reading Warrior Cats to him, and now he's obsessed.
Okay.
And
so you have special things that you do with your kids. Okay, great.
Yeah. And by reading Warrior Cats with him, he means that I read a chapter with him, and then he got bored and read it by himself.
Okay.
But it was something.
Was that
from
like
you.
becoming baby stuff or something? Like being read to or?
No, I think it's just I wasn't going fast enough.
Okay, yeah.
He got that from me. He reads so much.
Okay.
He reads like a 300-page book a day.
Oh my goodness.
nuts.
It's insane.
Wow.
He's 9.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's nuts.
Get that boy into graduate school.
Yeah. But I think that, again, like that giving them that independence and like also just knowing that like we don't have a plan for them.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Well, like you said, happy, healthy.
And when we say things like when we tease our oldest about like dating, I will always say like future partner. We never use gendered terms.
Yeah.
And always say things like if you want a partner. Because like aromantic's a thing.
Right.
Asexual is a thing.
Right.
And so just kind of like.
Or different kinds of relationships too that don't have to be marriage.
Yes. And we also are, so our queer friends who have kids are like a polycule. And so being able to be like.
Can you define that, please?
So they're polyamorous relationship. Theirs is, I don't know, they're all structured differently, but basically having more than one partner. So we're monogamous.
Yeah.
We did kind of have an open-ish relationship at the beginning.
Well, yeah, because you were married.
Yeah. But I mean, like we talked about you dating other people when you went to college and stuff too, which never ended, you know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But this group
Well, you worked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of them. I think they're all dating each other, and then one of them has a different partner and stuff. And so they have, which is cool because you get like a built-in support. So then the kids can see
Or a
that.
break,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So then our kids get to see that and be like, oh, that's, you know, ex's partner's partner, whatever. And it's normal and it's an option.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I was growing up, it was like, you're a girl and you're going to have a husband.
Yeah, right.
And there was no option for anything else. So, they get to see that there's options. Like, we've got all your different flavors of gay people in their life. So they get to see that there are all sorts of different people that you can be.
Yeah.
So I like that. And it is a very different experience from growing up and feeling like this is who you have to be or we don't love you as much. Because that conditional love sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's incredibly damaging.
Yeah.
And we've both dealt with that.
Yeah. Conditional and transactional.
Yes.
Like you have to give me this back and, you know, then I'll love you. Yep. Yeah.
That's hard.
Meet
And
my
it's-
expectations.
It's very damaging. And
Yeah.
Why don't my adult children talk to me anymore?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Thank goodness for therapy. Yay. We're back to that. Yay.
Yes, go to therapy. I have a non-binary therapist, and it's like the greatest because they're also trans and they like get it.
Yeah.
and so it's, therapy is great.
Yeah. I had a pretty good therapist. She was a lesbian and she was married to a trans man. So, so at the time, so she knew kind of the experience that I might be going into. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And where I
awesome.
had come from as well, because I was a lesbian before that. Or not really a lesbian, dyke. I would say dyke. Yeah. And lesbian was too much of the lesbian part. But anyway, yeah, there's a difference. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end. Is there anything, you know, some last minute thoughts, anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
No, I feel like I just talked the whole time, so you can say something.
I should say. I was agreeing with everything you said. I don't know. Go to therapy. If you're.
I was wondering too. Maybe both of you can answer this. What attracted you to my project? By the way, why did you feel like it was important to be part of it?
Well, you found it and you talked about it and you said it was like that the oral history part of it, like having that resource of like, especially for you since you didn't grow up with that, like there were no figures in your life who were like us. So having that, like whoever is out on the internet and finds this and like we're 2 queer trans dads and you can also be a queer and trans dad too if you want to be.
So. And you're obviously very happy and well adjusted. It took a lot of work to get there, which I think is important too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a long time. But I think, just being part of that oral history, being that person that I needed when I was younger, that we needed when we were younger, and just showing that joy, because a lot of being queer can be really hard and really traumatic and really devastating, but it can also be so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
And
dance lessons and
just all the fun shit. Like, we just do so much fun stuff. We actually we had a fake proposal before I actually proposed.
Was it a trial run or what? What? Look at this.
Yeah. We were at the arcade, and I was trying to get a ring pop. Like, I wanted to get enough tickets to get a ring pop, and then
they didn't have any.
Is that one of those lollipops that's a ring? Okay.
Yeah. So we went to the dollar store and looked everywhere, and finally found these ring pops. And then
it was the single bag of ring pops, the only one they had in the store, in the wrong section.
It's probably left over from the 80s or
probably.
something.
Oh, absolutely. So we got that, and we got some bubble wands and some water guns and like fake swords, and we went home and we had a water gun fight and all this stuff. And then we were sitting eating pizza. And I was like jokingly like, haha, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? And then it was like,
but actually.
So I obviously redid it. I did a real proposal with a real ring.
Did you have like a little serious moment there?
Yes.
Like, and then our eyes met and we got serious.
Yeah, because then you like gave it right back to me, and you were like, well, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? And got all romantic, and I was like, we were just watching Star Wars and eating pizza. Okay. Like, now I have a lot of feelings here.
Yes. You were joking.
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah, we were not joking.
No.
That's cool, though. I mean, you kind of, eased it.
Yeah.
Eased it, yeah.
I think part of it, too, was losing Sky's dad and really realizing, because it was very sudden. It was very sudden.
So mortality.
He had a heart attack just out of nowhere. So
yeah. And just kind of saying, like, why wait? Like, I love you, and I know you're my person, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I don't want to wait the heteronormative number of years to get engaged.
because we were gonna wait, because I was still in school. I had 2 years left on my bachelor's degree, so we were gonna wait until I graduated with that, and then the kids were older and stuff, and it was an easier transition, quote unquote.
Okay, so less going on.
Yeah, less happening, and then Dad died, and we were just like, there's no point in waiting. Why not just do it now?
Yeah,
and the programs that you want for school are here as well. So once you get permanent residency, then potentially go back to school with the oldest.
Yeah,
go to college with our oldest kid.
Speaking of kids, there's his alarm.
Okay, so this is a good place to end. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Off to your parenting duties.
Yes.